Hey Coach, it's Joe Salas here. We're going to continue with our insertion. We're going over screens today. 4-day insertion, 4 screens. Larry Roger day 1, Tom Jerry day 2, Lucy Rose day 3, and Lita Rita day 4. Those are a spot screen, a bubble screen, a tunnel screen, and a slow screen, traditional running back screen. Typically on insertion, the first time through we go out of 2x2. The second week that we go through it, we go 3x1, and typically the third week we're ready to start putting our tags in. So typically that's how it works. So day 1, week 1, everything would be out of 2x2. I'm going to keep the defense the same. I showed you run game out of a 4-4, cover 3 look, so we'll keep it the same with the 3 technique away from the F. So Larry Roger is our bread and butter air raid screen. It is right now. It's for 20 years. It's been a big play for us. It's been a staple. Still today, we still come out of games wishing we had thrown it more. So it's a throw it probably 10 times a game kind of screen. And it's a screen that one of the staples of the air raid is you throw this screen even when it's not working, because you're running the defense back and forth, sideline to sideline. If they're stopping this screen, they're probably better than us. So we got to get them tired so we can do something productive as we go through the night. So Larry Roger, I've got it drawn up. The Larry, we're going to throw Larry to the left, Roger to the right. We're going to throw Larry, but I went ahead and drew it up against man, also press man, so you can see that one also. It's a zone screen. We like a little cushion, but we're capable of throwing it versus man. It's not something we're going to make a living on versus press man, but we're capable of throwing it versus press man and doing fine. So zone side, 1 step up, 1 step back, 1 step in. H, same as before. He's going his aiming point is 1 yard in front of the receiver. He's taking most dangerous. Typically that is number 1, but occasionally that'll end up being number 2, and he'll react back. On the man side, we get press man. Our rule is 3-step outside release. He's trying to get the corner to turn his hips and start running with them. He slams on the brakes at full speed, retraces his steps. Hopefully we're catching that ball almost exactly where he would if it was zone. And against man, the Y is coming full speed and he's taking number 1. Typically the walk would be playing man also, so he would trail it, and then we'd have the 2 linemen coming out and picking up the trash right there. So it's a workable screen versus man. If we're getting a big dose of man, we'd probably be running some of the other screens. We like a tunnel versus man a lot better than we like Larry Roger, but we can run Larry Roger. All right, so how do we block this thing? We got the outside. H is probably taking number 1. We try to show run on this side. On the back side, they're just pass pro. They're sitting. We want them to rest because we might, if this defense is really good, we might come right back and throw the other way the next time. So they get to rest this play. The play side tackle, if he's got a B gap player, he's going to ricochet off of that, so he's going to hit him hard and then come flat down the line of scrimmage. He's stepping inside, trying to influence this defensive end to squeeze a little bit. Same thing for the guard. The guard steps inside and then stacks him as he comes out to pick up trash. So they're coming out, they're picking up trash. We're going to get number 2 in the mix right there. Fullback is going to take make sure he's clear of the quarterback. He's going to come in and hit an inside defensive lineman. We tell him, hey, they're hitting you all night. This is your chance to hit them back. The quarterback, this is a turn to double play. So he's going to catch it. He's not worried about strings. He's going to catch it, hop step, and turn to double play as fast as he can. We want to get the ball in this guy's hands as fast as he can. Typically our outside receivers are pretty dang good, and we want to get them touches. The only coaching point we have with the receiver, catch the ball, and we call it run the hoop. So we want to run around this first block and then get back to the sideline as quick as we can. We'd like to average 3 to 5 yards on it, but like I said, even if they're kicking our tails, we're going to keep throwing that screen, because we know every time we throw the screen, we've only got 2 guys having to run out there, but their entire defense is having to run out there. So we're tiring them out. When we're playing tempo, we want tired legs to play against. So that's Larry Roger. Our second screen is Tom Jerry. We'll do it against the same look. The difference on the Tom Jerry, it's a bubble, and we got more moving parts on Tom Jerry. We're actually gonna run our counter because it is a viable option for us. So the backside, we're gonna go Jerry here. So our call is Tom Jerry, Tom to the left, Jerry to the right. Against this look, let's see, we've got the walk, we got in, tackle, tackle, in. All right, we're gonna call the Jerry. On the backside, you still want to run a Larry, and we would still pre-snap that thing. If that walk is messing around, if we're two by two, we'll still check that walk. If he's messing around, we get a 2-on-1, we'll take it right now. In the box, we are running counter. We're running counter to the left. So we would get a power double right here. We'd block back right here. We'd kick right here. We'd wrap up the play side back to right here. He would counter step and start bringing it. He'll know before the snap whether he's going to be involved or not. If he's not going to be involved, he'll dip to get out of the way. If he is going to be involved, he'll come right across and run a normal counter. On this side, he's going to block number one. Our guys have their inside foot up, so he's going to just push off that inside foot and back pedal out and be the guy right there. I know it's not as pretty as crossing over and running, but what we found is this is a much easier throw for the quarterback, so we want to make an easy throw right there. Why do we have this counter going on? Well, because every once in a while we'll call that, especially at a 3-by-1, you'll call the perfect bubble, and then all of a sudden you come out and they're in press man. Well, if that happens, if at any point the quarterback does not like the play side, he does not like the look he's getting, all he'll do is turn to the tailback and say, you, and now we're running the counter. O-line already thinks we're running counter. On their wristband it says counter. That would be counter to the left. For everyone else it says Jerry. So they're already thinking they're running counter, and if the quarterback doesn't like it, he says you, and we run counter. So a lot of moving parts. He can go backside. He can run the bubble, or he can say you, and we can run the counter. The counter can be live. Been a good play. We don't call it enough. We need to call it a lot more because it really is a good play. It's a solid play, and we're gonna do a better job of calling. All right, next one is our tunnel screen. Our tunnel screen and our slow screen, and we block those two the same. So we felt like for repetition and to get really good at this thing, the key for us is blocking it, both of these screens the same. So our blocking, let's talk about the O-line, and then we'll talk about what happens on the edges. All right, so let's call this, we're gonna run a Lucy, this is Lucy Rose, Lucy to the left, Rose to the right. Fullback always is going to swing away from the call. The X is going to take one step, come straight down the line of scrimmage, about 3/4 speed. We'd like to catch this right outside the tackle box. H is going to come get number one. For the blocking in the box, we call it pro push by the tackles. And all that means is we do a little thing where we clap our hands on passes. We want to get our hands together, and we want to kind of hypnotize the D-line that when they hear clap, we're throwing it. So we clap our hands, we take that guy, we take our set, when we make contact with that defensive end, we turn into a run block and run them up the field. So we're doing that with both defensive ends. We're engaging, we're running up the field. It's not a high arm, we're getting into them. For the guards, they take guard, center guard, they take their sets, 1,001, 1,002, 1,000 go. We tell them check for weapons. So we want them to put their hands on the guy, but we don't want them to blunt their rush. We want them to be able to come full speed. After 1,003, he turns and comes flat, then he stacks it, and then he stacks it. I know some people turn and try to get trash, but typically the inside backers have never been an issue for us. The issue is always, the one D lineman who's dragging tail and ends up, being a blind squirrel and falling into a huge lick on a tunnel screen. So what we do we're not worried about these two, we're worried about one of these guys not hustling and end up falling into the play. So what we tell the play side tackle only is once you pro push them, you turn inside towards the quarterback, and then you hunt up the guy who's trying to come get it. And it ends up being a good lick for us, and it ends up picking up that trash. Quarterback-wise, he takes a 3-step drop, and then he starts drifting towards the throw. We want a nice, easy, catchable throw, and we tell him to run the kick return. On the backside, we're running hitches, and what we'd like is for this to look like a stick to hopefully get this guy pulled out towards the backside. Lucy to the left, Rose to the right. It's been a big play for us. As a matter of fact, some years, at least 2 years, 2 different years at 2 different places, Lucy Rose was actually our best screen. Normally it's Larry Roger. Larry Roger, we throw so much, but at least 2 years, this has been the screen for the whole year where we had the most big plays and really made a difference for us. All right, the last one is our slow screen. We call it our Green Bay screen. We call it Lita Rita, and the big coaching point on it is we block it the same. So we're getting double reps when we practice this stuff. So we'll still do it out of 2x2. We're going to have them over here, but we can do it. He can be sitting on either side. It doesn't matter. It doesn't affect the screen. So same defense we've been looking at. We already know O-line, same way they did on, this is called Lita Rita, but they're blocking the same as Lucy Rose. All right, so we got 2 pro pushes. We got center guard, center guard, setting 1,001, 1,002, 1,000 go. He's coming out flat. He's stacking them. He's stacking them. He's pro pushing. He's turning and picking up trash. Quarterback's taking a 3-step drop and then drifting towards the throw. If the F was on this side, he would simply come across, sit behind the guard. When the guard leaves, he leaves, and he's going to turn out, try to get 1 by 1 outside of the tackle box. For the receivers, the play side, they're going to run X is going to run a 3-step drop, 3-step slant, and he's going to crack somebody. H is going to run a shoot, turn up, and go block. So we're getting 5 blockers out in front of them. On the back side, we usually just get the hitches on the back side. All right, so Lita to the left, Rita to the right, slow screen, Green Bay screen, very effective play, and we think we get pretty good at it because that we block it the same. I think that's a big key. All right, coaches, that's our screens, 4 days, 4 screens, that's our insertion. YouTube stuff. If you like it, like it. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe. And please leave a comment. I want you to get at least one good idea off of what I said, and I want you to give me one good idea. Thank you, coaches.